Going on, Falcon fans? This is your boy Recondo coming back at you with another video. So today we're gonna talk about my keys to victory over the Washington Commanders in their home stadium this Sunday. First of all, I want to say happy Thanksgiving to everybody. Make sure everybody enjoying, the spread of family fun and all those good things out there. Um, get to watch some football tomorrow and see how these teams going to do. I think it's like 3 games on. So go ahead and make sure you guys enjoy that and watch that. But we're going to get into these Atlanta Falcons this today and talk about some things. First, we're going to talk about the injury report, of course. Then we're going to talk about my keys to victory, offense, defense, and special teams. So before we get into that, guys, if you have not already, go ahead and please subscribe to the channel. Please hit notification bell so you know when I drop another video. Please hit the like button so I know you guys like hear what I talk about. And please share my video throughout the YouTube universe so more people can come in and hear me talk about these Atlanta Falcons. So we're gonna get right into it. Just a minute. Take that gum out. Get right into it. We're gonna talk about what's going on in Kishick. We're gonna get into the injury report first, of course, right? We got to make sure we see who's good, who's not good going into this week. Of course, we already know about our 2 starters, one on defense, one on offense, that's going to be on the injury reserve for the foreseeable future. Arthur Smith mentioned today that Kyle Pitts and Taquan Graham both are going to be able to have to have procedures done. Depending on that, we'll see if they will be able to return this season. Of course, they have to be out 4 weeks. So, let's just look at the timetable and see how that goes. I really believe they're going to depend on where the Falcons are at in the standings, or if they're still making a playoff push, still in contention. Both of those guys, if they're able to return back after those 4 weeks, I can see both of those guys returning. So that's where we're at with those 2 guys. We did have a couple of guys on the limited today in practice. Felipe Franks is back. Of course, he might get a bigger role now since Kyle Pitts out, but he's back from that calf injury. But he was limited today in practice, so we'll see will he be able to go this weekend. Caleb Huntley was limited today. Didn't know he was hurt, but just probably some maintenance stuff, making sure he's good to go for this weekend. He was limited. Armor Ebikadi as well, our player. They said they gave him the game ball last week against the Bears. Of course, he got his first sack of the season, being so close most all that time. But Armor Ebikadi, Chuma Idoga, who actually started at left guard for us. That's the 4th starting left guard that we have utilized this year. Remember, that was one of our weak points. We haven't really heard too much about it, being an issue for us. But Chuma Idoga played pretty well for us, but he's limited to this on the limited today at practice as well. Then the last person is Jalen Dalton, who actually played some snaps as well this Sunday when Taquan Graham went down. So another guy that's limited today. All those guys are limited. We'll monitor the injury report for the rest of the week, see if they're going to be able to go. None with nobody on the listed that did not practice today, so that's a good sign. So everybody else, hopefully, is good to go. Got like AJ Terrell, who just came back, played pretty much every snap in the game last week. So look like he's back to good again, and hopefully he can kind of shadow Terry McLaurin this weekend, because we need to be able to shut that guy down. All right, we're going to talk about some quick roster moves while we're talking about injury report. I don't know if you guys heard about it, but Will Compton, veteran linebacker, been in the league by 9 years. He's talking about this is 10th season coming back. He actually reported his own signing with the Falcons. However, Arthur Smith reported today that if he is signing with the Falcons, not finalized, because he's not actually talking about him being on the team. But he reported that he was coming down on Tuesday to take a physical. Then he wants to get to that. I think it's a contract thing now. So if Will Compton is going to be on the team, it's going to be interesting. The guy is an energy ball of energy. So somebody that come in, a lot of experience, linebacker, special team wizard, coming in and actually being somebody that we can definitely utilize. Anybody that's going to bring that energy, bring that camaraderie, seem like a guy that we definitely can have. But we'll have to just see if they're actually going to actually sign him to this roster. All right. He reported that he was being signed, but nothing official yet. Some more moves that they utilize guys on the practice squad. They brought in cornerback John Reed, and they released safety Devon Key. We just talked about safety Devon Key, the other week when they brought him to the practice squad. But I guess since everybody's back healthy, they don't need another safety anymore. They brought John Rain to the practice squad, another tight end. So we know Kyle Pitts out, so they just trying to make sure that they keep that tight end room. Arthur Smith loves his tight ends. Jaleel Johnson. Now we talked about Jaleel Johnson signed to the practice squads a couple of weeks ago, but I was unaware, and I'm pretty sure you guys was unaware too. He was actually poached from his former team, the Houston Texans, and they signed him to the 53-man roster. However, this Saturday, the Houston Texans released him again. So the Falcons went back and picked him off waivers once he got released from the Houston Texans and put him back on his practice squad. So now he's back on the practice squad again. Another defensive tackle, the guy that we thought could have some production for the Falcons, but he never got a chance because the Houston Texans poached him, but then they released him again. So now the Falcons picked him back up. So he's back on our practice squad. And then Justin Schaefer, I think I talked about this briefly on Monday, was put on the IR on the practice squad. So those are just some of the roster moves that the Falcons, I think they still might have a open spot on that 53-man roster because Taquan Graham and Kyle Pitts went out. So we just have to see who they decide to elevate up. It could be somebody like Anthony Fersker or another tight end like I said, John Rain. Like I said, Arthur Smith loved his tight end, so we'll just have to see what they decide to do with that. People are saying that this is going to be a war football game, two running teams, button heads. It's going to be in the trenches. What do you say? I agree 100%. It's kind of going back to the Cleveland Browns game. Two teams that want to run the ball. That's what they want to do. They don't want to put their quarterback in, so many passing downs, and they want to try to stay out of third and longs and things like that. I think both teams have the same kind of mindset. Now we're just going to see who's going to be able to execute that game plan the best, right? So that's where I agree with you 100%. I think that's the way this game is going to go. That's the way I kind of tailored my keys to victory as well around that kind of mindset, because two teams that want to run the ball, believe it or not, the Falcons is a physical team. You can ask every team that's played the Falcons this year how physical they are. These guys be after it. They be getting after these quarterbacks. Justin Fields found out. A lot of quarterbacks have found out this year that these guys are hit, and they physical on the offensive side and the defensive side of the ball. I mean, how many times we've seen Cordell Patterson, Tyler Algier, and Caleb Huntley run over guys, right? Our receivers are physical. Drake London likes to run through tackles as well. So we have a physical team, and they're going to find that out. These guys are physical, but the Falcons are physical too. And, in the past, that's something we definitely could not say, that we got a physical team like the Atlanta Falcons out there. So those are the quick injury report, the roster news, and things like that. But I love the way this Atlanta Falcons team physicality's been showing up throughout this season. And guess what? Another physical game. And we got one right after that too, because the Pittsburgh Steelers are another physical team. So if you want to play big boy, big boy in this league, that's the kind of team you want to have. And I don't know if you guys remember this earlier in the year, off season, I was talking about I want the Atlanta Falcons to be more like the AFC North, physical team playing in the cold weather, things like that. We don't want to be that dome type team, playing in the dome. I know we play in the dome. That's what we do. But if we can be that physical, smash mouth on the line of scrimmage. Our skilled guys are physical. Our quarterback is physical. Everybody physical. You don't want to play this team, the Atlanta Falcons. So that's the kind of team we're trying to build, and it's gonna be definitely gonna be on display this Sunday up in Washington. All right, so let's go ahead into the keys. We're going to the offensive keys first. And like I said, I really did it tailored to what we just talked about, the physicality of this game. And my first key on offense is pretty much, can we match up against that physicality of that defensive front seven for the Washington Commanders? I mean, let's just put it out there. Can we match up against that physicality of the Washington Commanders front seven? I mean, they got 3 first-round picks on their defensive line. Then they got Chase is coming back, correct? And they got Montez. So they got a lot of their front seven is stout. It's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. It's a tough front seven that we definitely have to play. I watched this team play on Monday Night Football against the Philadelphia Eagles, and that physicality, that front seven really got out to Jalen Hurts. So this is a good test for the Atlanta Falcons. I definitely think they're up to the task because, like I said, they're physical. They've been running the ball. Their identity is already established. The Washington Commanders is not going to be surprised that the Falcons want to run the ball. And their offensive linemen our offensive linemen like to get off the ball and hit people. So it's going to be a good matchup between that defensive front seven that they have against our offensive line. And we're going to see who's actually going to win that matchup. But that's my first key. Can we go up against all the number 1 draft picks, right? And be able to hold court. I mean, in the run game and the passing game, we got to give Marcus Mariota some time to actually throw the ball. The few times he's probably going to be asked to throw it, right? Those key throws that we need him to make. So we need to be able to give him pass protection, and we still got to be able to run the ball. So those are 2 things I definitely want to see from the Atlanta Falcons. We want to be able to use the clock. And believe it or not, guys, we lost the time possession against the Chicago Bears, right, last week. Now, it could probably be due to the 2 turnovers we had because it took possessions away from us. But we got to be able to run the ball, and we got to be able to pass on those timely, passing downs that is called for Marcus Mariota. But we got to be able to protect the front, be able to run the ball, be physical in the run game, and be able to provide some pass protection. You should say Marcus Mariota took a hard hit in the ribs, T drive. Yeah, man. For a minute, I thought he was gonna be out. He stayed down for a minute. He got right back up though. But he a warrior, man. He was going for that touchdown. There was no ifs, ands, or buts about it. He had made his mind up that he was going to score that TD, and you gotta like that physicality that he showed. There's a lot on this game for both teams. Don't underestimate it. This is why this game is so important, right? Because you just mentioned it for one reason. If we win, we're tied with the Commanders. However, since we won in the head-to-head matchup, we will be in the lead. And let's just keep this in mind. Our NFC record is not that bad. It's really not that bad. We have lost to the 3 teams in our division, right? But we beat the Seahawks, we beat the 49ers, we beat the Bears. All 3 of those teams are in the NFC. And then if we can go out and beat the Commanders as well, that's a good NFC record because it's going to start coming down to some of these teams having the same records like you just mentioned about the conference records. So NFC, we're looking good. We got to be able to, split between the Buccaneers and the Saints. We can actually do that. That'll definitely help us out. We'll be able to split those 2 games. But because they already won, we got to see if we get a win against those 2 teams. But our NFC record is pretty good. Like I said, we beat the Niners, we beat the Seahawks, and we beat the Bears, all NFC teams. If we can beat the Commanders, that's 4 wins in NFC. That bodes well for us. So this is a big game for us. We both be 6-6, but we will have a tiebreak against the Commanders. So, and to your point here, we got to stay with with Tampa Bay. And Tampa Bay got a big game coming up. Man, it's gonna be a tough game for them going to Cleveland. Don't know how the weather is gonna be out there in Cleveland, but I think Nick Chubb and those guys gonna be pretty upset the way the performance they put in Detroit this past weekend. So um, I think they're gonna have a pretty good game for those guys. I thought Deshaun Watson was coming back, but I think he's coming back next week. So I think Jacoby Brissett's going to be still out there running the team. But if they can get their running game going against the Bucs, that'd be great for us. And if they lose, we win, we'll be tied again with the actually we would be in the lead again because we'll be 6-6. They'll be 5-6. So that would be a big thing for us. So let's hope that we can take care of our business. We can't worry about what they do because, like you said, we need to be able to stay with those guys and keep within the conference. And then you never know, we can stay with those guys. That last game of the season could be a very big game for us, which is nobody would never expect. Week 17 or week 18, the Atlanta Falcons is still in the hunt playing for a playoff spot. So that's a great point. We definitely need to stick with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. All right, my second key on offense. Yeah, half game lead. You're correct because they already had a bye. We have ours in 2 weeks. So, my second key for these Atlanta Falcons on offense is I want us to try to be a little bit creative, right? A little bit creative. Kyle Pitts is out. We're gonna have to utilize CP, but we can utilize him in the pass game, right? I believe that between Caleb Huntley and Tyler Algier, our running game will be okay. Remember, CP came in as a receiver. He's still a weapon. Get the ball in his hand, be able to get him, the run after the catch, the yak yards, and things like that. So I would like to see more creativity out of the offense this week because of Kyle Pitts there. Remember, Kyle Pitts draws so much attention. He opened up so many lanes for some of those other receivers to catch balls. But since he's going to be out, I think Arthur Smith need to be a little bit more creative with the offense this week. Utilize CP more in the passing game, put him in the slot, move Drake London into the slot. Remember, he plays slot in college as well, so he does know how to play inside and outside. But be a little bit more creative this week with our offensive game plan because of Kyle Pitts. Without Kyle Pitts, I think we have enough weapons, to be able to withstand Kyle Pitts being out because we don't pass the ball a lot that much anyway this year. So just the fact those timely passes that I was talking about, the creativity that Arthur Smith definitely can utilizing Cardell Patterson in the slot, utilizing Drake London in the slot, utilizing Demir Bird to his speed that he has, and the Lombardi's kids, means to getting touch catches on third down, things like that. Those are the kind of things we definitely need to see. So my second key for the offense is show some creativity on offense to to take up for the things that we're gonna miss with Kyle Pitts. Put CP more in the passing game. Utilize your other two young backs that you got, and Caleb Huntley and Tyler Algier. I think Tyler Algier is starting to become a workhorse anyway. We just see it. One thing I like about Tyler Algier, this guy never seemed like he goes down. When you hit him, it's just like he bounced off. He always standing up. The play's over, but he's not on the ground. He's still standing there. Big boy, man. And he runs hard. The more and more experience he get, the better he's going to get. Remember, this guy, Tyler Algier, had the most broken tackles in college last year before he got drafted. So, and where we're at right now, college season usually over. So you got to tip your hat off to this rookie class as well because these guys are still balling, doing their thing. CP and the tight end company will. Hey, Somebody said put CP as tight end. He can definitely play that position, and that's what I mean by creativity. You don't necessarily have to put him on the line at tight end, but you can utilize him in the slot and utilize his pass catching ability because he came in the lead as a receiver. But he's such a dynamic weapon in open field. You want to be able to try to get the ball in his hand as much as you can. Definitely, you still use him at back, but if you can utilize him in other positions, that creativity, that's what I definitely would like to see. So, but using him as our semi tight end, yes, that's what I mean. That creativity, something like that. Probably not just on the line, blocking. As a tight end, I don't know how much experience he has in doing something like that. He said, "I would blow defense." It really would. It would. They was like, "What?" That would really make them start to think if we put CP at tight end right on the line. They wouldn't know what kind of formation what to say about that, but that would be interesting. And believe it or not, guys, um my Cole Pruitt, I think he's going to play a big role too. That's a big boy, and he's athletic. Remember, he already had a touchdown this year. He had a big catch in that Bears game this past weekend, so he's going to play a factor as well. Anthony Frisker, if he get activated, that's another guy that he actually have playoff experience with the Tennessee Titans. So, two guys that definitely can fill in that tight end role. We're not asking them to replace Kyle Pitts and do the things he do, but we can ask those guys to make those timely plays. Because remember, like I said, the whole idea is not having this team go back and drop back, 20, 35 times a game to pass the ball, right? We want to be balanced. We want to be able to run the ball and make those timely throws like we've been doing all season. So that's what we want to do. All right, all right. My third key, which I think is really going to be important in this game, is third down and the red zone, right? So, first of all, when I mean by third down, we want to be able to try to get in third and short, manageable third downs, right? We do not want to be in third and longs. If we're in third and longs, I don't think it's going to bode well for this team. Biggest thing we can do in third and long is just try not to have a real bad play and punt it and play it for another down. We have not really been that good in third and longs this year. So try to stay out of third and longs, but we could have a good percentage on third down. The last 2 weeks, our percentage on third down has not been that good. Even though we won against the Bears, third down percentage was not that good again. But we definitely need to make sure on third down we start to be more, efficient on that down. That's the money down. They always have been on both sides of the ball. So we got to be able to manage third downs, try to stay in third and manageable, third and 5 and less. At least if we can do that, I think we'll be really good on third downs and we can be able to dictate this game more than having those guys pin back that front seven. They want to get out the quarterback. So we want to be able to make sure those guys know that it's going to be a hard fought physical game. I don't mind. I really don't mind 13, 14 plays driving this game. If we come away with points, which when I talk about the red zone, we have to be able to score touchdowns. I have to go back and look. I'm not 100% sure what our red zone percentage is right now, but that's one of the things that we really need to make sure we do. Arthur Smith offense uses really good in red zone percentages. If you go back to Tennessee, he was 1-2 in his 2 years that he played. He was offensive coordinator there, so he's really good at scheming up, plays in the red zone, getting the ball in. Like I said, I have to go back and look. I'm not 100% sure what our red zone percentage is this year. I definitely look at that and get back with you guys on that. But red zone and third downs. So that's where we're at on the offensive side of the ball, guys. If we can do that on offense, I think the Falcons will be successful with this game. Like I said, we understand who we're going up against, that front line. So the first key, all those number one draft picks that they got, they come out and they're playing well too. So It's not just a name. They're actually balling. They're actually playing really good. They're 5-1 in their last 6 games, so they're playing pretty good football. Like I said, the second key is to be creative without Kyle Pitts. Utilize all the weapons you got. Brian Brian Edwards, I'm not sure why we traded for him. We have not utilized him at all this season. I think he probably got like 1 or 2 catches on the year. So that's another guy that we can actually bring in and see if he'd be able to do something. And then the last key, like I said, um, is just be good on third down and in the red zones. And it just reported that the Falcons is bringing up Frank Darby from the practice squad. So Frank Darby's back on the active roster again. Just popped up on my phone. So I guess that's that other spot that I was talking about on the 53-man roster, bringing up Frank Darby, guy who's a great special team player. Um, just have not showed a lot in the passing game, but right now, you can say that about a lot of guys because we don't pass as much as we need to pass. Right now with this team, the way it's been going this year. So, but Frank Darby's getting moved to the active roster, which means that he's definitely going to be one of our key guys on special teams this week. And you never know, could have a role in the offense as well. All right, let's get to our defensive keys, guys. Defensive keys to the game. So the defensive keys, the first key, we talked about this earlier in this podcast, of course, that both teams want to run the ball. So my first key is we want to stop the run, and the main reason I want to stop the run, I want to make Taylor Heineke beat us in the passing game. So if we can limit these guys to being a passing team, which what they don't want to do, right? And I would say the same thing. That's probably what they want to try to do. That's make us a passing team because we definitely don't want to be a passing team. So, but if we can stop the run and make these guys be a passing team, that's what we want to do. We want to make Taylor Heineke come out and show why he was named their starting quarterback over Carson Wentz. Make him pass the ball. So that's my first key. We want to stop the run. We want to be able to make those guys get into those third and longs and stuff like that. So we want to be able to stop the run, stop the run, stop the run. So contrasting things, we want to run the ball on our side. We want to stop running on their side, guys. That is just that simple. All right, we can do that. Put those guys in passing downs, and we can see can we kind of create one of our best pass rush days that we have had this year, which is against Sunday against the Bears. We had 4 sacks in that game, able to limit Justin Fields to only 12 yards rushing in the second half. And I just want to say this about this Atlanta Falcons team, which may go under the radar just a little bit, which is what a lot of people don't notice about this team is that their second half adjustments are just outstanding. They really are. If you go back and just look at every game we played, teams just say that even the teams that get up on us in the first half, in the second half, they don't have the same success. So the adjustment that the coaching staff is able to make in game, it's just been great, right? You have to love it. I mean, Chicago Bears was one of the hottest teams. I mean, they had scored over 30 points in the last 2 games, and they scored no points in that third quarter. They put up 7 in the second half, but that's the kind of adjustments that you love to see. And that's 7 points. You just gotta think about it. Justin Fields made a great scramble. Probably last 14 seconds, and then he was able to find his guy for that first down. But we had those guys in third and long, and Justin Fields just made a play. And sometimes that happens, but and we probably could have limited some 3 points instead of 7 in the second half. But you just got to tip your hat off to this coaching staff and the adjustments that they have made this season. Just go back and look at the Rams games. It was 28-3. And I think the score was 31-27. So look at the Tampa Bay game. They got up 21-0. We right there. They don't call that roughing the passer. Grady Jarrett, we have a chance to go down and win that game. The Cincinnati game, they got up on us, but going into the half, remember, it was a close game. The adjustment that this coaching staff makes is just outstanding. We have been in so many one-score games this season because we're in it every game, right? And we can say we have not played our best in some of those games, and we were still there. For an example, that Carolina game on Thursday night, that's probably one of the worst games I've seen the Falcons play, but it was 15-22, and we had a chance to tie the game up, at the end there. So you have to take your head off to this coaching staff, the adjustments that they make. It's something to just take note of, and once they get some players in that's in different positions because they still need some bodies in some areas to make this team even better. Some of these guys need to grow. Got a lot of young guys, but once we get what we need, hold, it's going to be a pretty good team because the coaching is there. We just got to get the young guys to start to execute better, and not have those self-inflicted wounds that we have. So, right here, every say through a wrench, Washington game plan, play 4-3 defense on their yeah. I mean, I think, like I said, this is what I want to see. This is not one of my keys, but what I definitely want to see from our defense, I want to see AJ Terrell. I want to see him mirror Terry McLaurin, because he's been doing that mostly this season, mirroring the number one guy. That's their weapon. They trust me. Terry Haneke always looking for Terry, trying to get him the ball. So that's one thing we definitely got to be able to do is limit that. We want to make sure we get on Samuels too to utilize him. He comes out of the backfield. I think he scored on a jet sweep against the last team they played. I think it was the Texans. So we got to be able to Curtis Samuel, that guy, Terry McLaurin. They got some weapons on the offense, but Terry is their number one guy. We want AJ Terrell to shadow him. Then put a game plan around those guys. I want to see Troy Anderson in the game a little bit more. Go to that big nickel package that we've been showing. So those are the kind of things I want to see. And we could. One thing about Dean Pease, he's not setting his ways of just playing one kind of defense. He got all kind. He could go 4-3, he can go 3-4. Like I say, he go that big nickel package. He can go cover 3, he can go cover 2. So it's so many different things that Dean Pease called. That's why he talked about it last year. He only had half of the playbook in, but this year, all bets are off. He put more in the playbook. We don't have to worry about too much. Taylor Haneke running the ball, like Justin Fields. He did hurt us last year, guys. Remember, we did play these guys last year in the Mercedes-Benz Stadium, where we probably should have won that game, but just mistakes down the stretch hurt us. I think Arthur Smith was still learning himself. Some of the situation of football, how to play, call the game and stuff like that. But so we have seen him. He made some play. Remember, I don't know if you guys remember, he threw that balloon pass up in the end zone to Terry McLaurin, and like 2 defenders just standing there watching it drop into his hands. So things like that, we want to be able to limit this week. So I know I got long-winded, went off my keys and stuff, but I just wanted to talk about our defense, some of the things that the adjustments that's made, and some of the things that I love the way this coaching staff make the adjustments. It really does. I mean, Justin Fields had, almost 70 something rushing yards in that first half, and he ended up with like 85. So that's what I'm talking about when I talk about adjustments. He says here, get some people in the box all day. 100%. like I think you'll definitely see some safeties down in the box. Like I said, we go a big nickel. We really don't have to do that. We can actually just play our 3 linebackers. And Michael Walker need to stop missing tackles, man. He's killing me. Our cornerback will shut down the receiver down. We got to stop these 2 running backs. Yep, they got Gibson and Robertson. Both of those guys are beasts. It's gonna be a tough task for these Atlanta Falcons. But I think these guys are gonna be ready for it. All right, let's go to my last key on defense, and I think I talked about it. We need to be good on third down. One of the things that really just irks me to the most is third and longs, right? On defense, if we could not give up third and longs, I mean, I hate giving up 3rd and 14s, 3rd and 12s. You can live with the 3rd and 5s and things like that, because that means you didn't play good on 1st and 2nd down. But when you play good on first and 2nd down, and you got those guys in 3rd and long, 3rd and 10 or more, 3rd and 8, 3rd and 9, you got to be able to get off the field. So we need to play good on third down, especially when we have the advantageous 3rd and longs on defensive side of the ball. I think we have gave up too many of those this year. It has come down to the last 2 weeks, but we got to be able to limit those kind of plays, right? We got to be able to man on man, whatever it's called. You got to be able to execute those, and we have not been doing that in the last 2 weeks. I mean, most of the season, I think last 2 weeks we did better in 3rd and longs, but for the most part, those was been hurting us. So we need to be really good on third down, 3rd and longs. And if we do that on defense, guys, like I said, we can stop the run. The EQ just mentioned it. Stop the run, stop Gibson, stop Robinson. Make Taylor Heineke beat us in the passing game. That's the first key. If we can do that, the game plan is already going in the direction we wanted to go in, right? No explosive plays. No explosive plays. I mean, we can't get jet sweeps, going for 40, 50 yards, right? That's what happened in Carolina, right? We can't let Taylor Heineke throw balloon balls up in the air and get behind the defenders and they catch touchdowns. We can't let those kind of plays happen, right? Those are mistakes, because trust me, it was never coached to give up those plays. So if we give up explosive plays because we didn't execute right, so we have to be able to execute those kind of plays. So those are the things on defense. If we do that on defense, guys, I think we'll definitely be set up for success. And no ifs, ands, buts about it. We just need to make sure we go out and do those 3 keys on defense, which is stop the run, no explosive plays at all. Don't give up no explosive plays. If they're going to beat us, they got to drive the ball down the field. Then we need to be good on third down, especially 3rd and longs. If we do those things, guys, on defense, we'll be good. We'll be talking about 6-6 going into that Pittsburgh Steelers game, last game before we go into that much needed bye. This is the longest stretch I ever seen teams play before they actually went into the bye week. So we got 2 more games left. Can we get this win? Then come back home against the Steelers and see, can we put another win together? Then go on the bye feeling good, right? Come back out for the last 4 games stretch and see, can we make that final playoff push. So that's the game plan. But first, we got to take care of the Commanders, and that's what we need to do. So if we do that on defense, we'll be ready to go. Special teams. We've been talking about special teams all season long, and I think it's finally, showed its head how important special teams are. I don't think nobody will argue that the special teams played by CP, the record he broke, was a momentum changer for the entire game, guys. We was down 17-7. CP had just fumbled. We had just turned over the ball, punched it in. It wasn't looking good. It was really like The crowd was out of the game. It was really not a good thing for us. And then CP take that 103 yards back, for a touchdown. That changed the whole momentum of the game. Remember, we went into half tied. It was down 17-7, and we went into the half tied because of a special teams play. So that's one of the things we definitely gotta love, right? Something big on special team. There's no big plays, no 8 yard. Listen, exactly, man. These big plays are I'm telling you, that's what the Falcons Achilles heel. We give up big plays because if we make them drive, usually we come out with good results. But we give up big plays, it really hurts us. So no big plays, no big plays. All right, so my first key on special teams, guys, is I'm pretty sure you already know what it is. It's field position. Um, I always talk about field position on special teams, just to let you guys know, uh, every week, because field position is always the key. Good field position for your defense, pin them back, and then great field position offense, easy to score. So I always talk about that. We got to be able to control the field position. One thing I always say, all punts are not bad, right? You in 3rd and 15 because you had a holding penalty, right? Just don't have a negative play. You have to punt the ball, punt it deep, pin them deep, go 3 and out, get the ball back, good field position. So it's just that simple. That's how complementary football works. That's why special teams is so important. That's why it is the third phase of football. Some people don't take it serious, right? Think it's just I can get up and go to the give me something to eat or go to the restroom or something like that, and you come back like, what happened? Yeah, because it was special team play that turned and changed the whole momentum of the game. So that's why special teams are so big. I don't know if you watched the college football, but if you watch Georgia Tennessee, that punt, um, where they downed it at the 1 yard line of Tennessee's 1 yard line, was one of the biggest plays in that game because if you guys recall, it was a fumble. Should have been a safety. I don't think the guy got out, but um, they made him punt the ball, short punt. Georgia go right back in and score a touchdown. So that's what I'm talking about. That punt plays like that are so much momentum breakers for teams. That's why field position is so important. And that's the way we like to look at the field position. So tell the truth, I think it's going to be a field goal only score game. I mean, man, if it wasn't the Falcons, I would not agree with you, but that's how the Falcons play. They don't they let us have our heart, the whole game. We have to watch it. If you're watching the Falcons game, you probably got to watch the whole game because it's not over till it's over, man. So I agree with you 100%. Definitely could be a field goal game. That's why my last key for special team is going to what's going on, Kendall? What's going on, Kendall? So yeah, so that's why I agree with you 100%. Um, it's probably be a field goal game. I don't want to put a score out there because um, I just don't know, man. Like this year, the way our offense plays is hit or miss. I mean, we come out and Marcus Mariota could be hitting on our cylinders in the passing game, and we can put up 30 points. And other games that come out, he can't hit anything. So you just have to see what happens. Say two running teams. I agree with you. Time position. Yeah, I said this last week too. Um, I thought that it was going to be limited possessions for both teams. Um, even though the Bears they dominated time position, I think though that had more to do with the two turnovers that we had. But I really thought that limited the time possession for us. But you're right; it's not going to be a whole lot of possession. So that's why it's so important to be good on third downs, like I said, and in the red zone. Because if you don't have many possessions, you can't waste them, right? Um, that Chargers game was it's a good example of that. We had a 9 play drive, and then Youngway missed a field goal to put us up in that game, and we lost by a field goal. So that's the point I'm making. Your possessions are very important in this game. in any game, but in a game like this, when two running teams want to control the clock, um, your limit possessions, you have to be able to take advantage of those. So good point. Good point. My second key on special teams, and I'm just going to say payback. I don't know if you guys know what I mean. Last year, the Falcons had the lead at halftime. Um, the Washington football team at the time received the ball and ran back the kickoff. And that, well, like I said, that changed the whole momentum of the game. We was in control of that game last year, and we kicked the ball off to their team, and they ran the kickoff back. So that's why my second key is payback. Let's return the favor in their home, in their house. We return a kickoff back or a punt return back. Let's get payback. Let's go out and change the game in our favor, make a play. Can't say we can't do it. We just did it last week, right? We just ran a touchdown back for a kickoff. So let's see, can we have a repeat of that? That would be something special, right? But it don't have to be CP. This is Avery Williams can run a punt return back. He's been close as well this year. His punt return. So either way, let's see, can we pay back? That's my second key. Is that we need to return the favor those guys in their house. Be able to return a kick. That would be awesome, right? Or we could, do a repeat of what Troy Anderson did in week 2 in Los Angeles, right? And block a punt and we get a scoop and score. That would be awesome too. So we just need to be able to. Second key, let's just say, can we score on special teams? It's a big ask because usually, that's percentage of scoring on special team is not as huge as it usually is. But if we could do something like that, that would be great for us. So thanks, man. All right, and then guys, my last key on special teams is Young Wei Koo. Keep doing what you do. A great comeback week you had. 2 long field goals. We needed both. We won by 3 points. You have been missing, but you still is somebody that we definitely can rely on. So Young Wei, keep doing your things. Do your things that you've been doing all year. Why you got the big payday this off season? Somebody we can depend on and trust. And you made 2 huge kicks for us to keep us in this playoff hunt. So Young Wei Koo is my third key. Keep doing the things you do. Good comeback week for you. Good comeback week for this team. And definitely something we needed, right? All right. So last saving things I'm gonna say about this week's game is that it was a big thing about the turf. Not sure. I think they changed their turf around a little bit. I don't know the weather conditions. Definitely got to look at that. So all these things could factor definitely into this game. The weather conditions, the playing field, things like that. But the mindset the Falcons need to have is we still right there. Everything we want is still in front of us. I know every team that's in the playoff hunt is saying the same thing. It might take the Falcons to win a division after getting the playoff because the NFC East standings right now, though every team is over 500 in that division. So it's gonna be tough, to get one of those 7 seeds if we don't win our division. But everything is still in front of us this year. So we definitely got to be able to go out and do those kind of things. What's going on, Brian? People? My key is time possession and TDs in the red zone. I love Koo too, but I don't need him scoring. Yeah, so I'm glad you're coming in and you're 100% correct. My third key on offense definitely was third downs and red zone touchdowns, right? So if Koo just put up extra points this week, that'd be great for me as well. Have no arguments with that. We definitely, but if we tied, 17-17 with 30 seconds left on the clock, we're gonna bring Koo out to see can we get that win. So that's what we want to see too. So definitely we want to be able to score touchdowns every time we touch the ball, and have our field goal kicker just kick extra points every time. I don't have a problem with that at all. So I agree with you 100%. So, but guys, this game, last week I said the game was just getting back to the fundamentals. Um, this game is similar to that because I think both of these teams are similar in nature where they want to run the ball. They don't want to put a lot of pressure on their quarterback. They want their quarterback to be the so-called game manager and dictate the terms of the game. What he just mentioned, time of possession. So that's the key of this game. All the other keys of just things that you would want to see. But if we could just do the basic fundamental things, um, run the ball, block, catch, tackle, those things, I think we'll be okay, right? Those are the fundamental things in football that we definitely we need to see, right? And if we can do that, but I'm gonna recap my keys, and then guys, I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here. Um, guys coming in late, if you didn't get to see the keys, go back and look at some of my points that I'm making. But I'm gonna go ahead and read the keys for you guys. Like I said, on offense, the first key is just to know, recognize that they got a lot of number one picks out there on their defensive front, right? And they're playing well. So you can have number one picks, they just be number one only, but these guys are playing like number ones. They've been playing well. They're 5-1 in their last 6 games. So they're definitely on a roll right now. So we definitely got to be able to stop that front seven for those guys. Of course, Chase Young's coming back, another headache for us to worry about. But I think the Falcons O line gonna be up to task. Even with changing out our left guard in the last 4 weeks, right? We definitely been hampered with that position, but it does not seem like it's been bothering us so far. So that O line just need to be physical with that defensive line because we know that defensive line is going to be physical, right? Got to be able to run the ball and protect the passer. My second key is to be creative on offense. No Kyle Pitts. You got to be able to utilize your personnel you got. Put CP back as a receiver to open up some of that. He just need to be able to have the ball in his hand, open space. You can utilize your running backs. You have 2 good young running backs that could carry that load in the running game, and we could utilize CP in different ways. So just be more creative with the offense. You can get guys that we haven't seen much of this year. A guy like Brian Edwards could definitely play a bigger role. They made a trade for this guy, gave up a draft pick, so definitely love to see him have some production this season. That's what we need to see. We don't know. Maybe Felipe Franks could have a showing finally. He's on this roster for some reason. Arthur Smith loves this guy, so we'll just see. But we need to be creative on offensive side of the ball. This is my second key. Then the last key is like I said, is to be good on third down, and score touchdowns in the red zone. That's that simple. We need to be able to control the clock. That's how you control it. Being good on third downs, third down conversions. Have no problem with us running 13, 14 play drives and ending it off with a touchdown. My on the defensive side of the ball, like I said, stop the run. We want to make Taylor Heineke beat us in the passing games. I would love AJ Terrell to shadow Terry McLaurin all over the field, make it tough on him, and then utilize the scheme, make Taylor Heineke go to other weapons out there. Correct. No explosive plays. We could limit the explosive play. We want to make them, if they're going to beat us, they need to have those long drives where we tend to play well. We kind of bend on break kind of defense. So no explosive plays for our defense. I think we'll be good. And then we need to be good on third downs on defense, especially third and longs, right? We need to be able to get our field on third and longs. So I hate when we play good on first and second down, get those in the third and long, which is advantageous for the defense, but then we give up a big play conversion on that. So we need to be good on third downs on defense. Then last but not least, special teams. Like I said, field position is the name of the game on special teams. The better field position you get for your offense is always good. And on defensive side, the deeper you pin those guys back, they call the game different when they're pinned back to their end zone. So let's think about that. The second key on special teams, like I said, Let's get a little payback. They ran one back on us last year in Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Let's see, can we get a big play and pay back and score on special teams this week? We did it last week. Why not, back to back? That'll be awesome. It don't have to be CP either. It could be Avery Williams or another block punt, scoop and score. And then the last thing is Young Way Cool. If we need you, man, be ready to go. Always keep that foot on ice and be ready to win it if we need you at the end. Those are my keys to victory for this Washington Commanders game this weekend. I'm excited. We still in the playoff and it's Thanksgiving, guys. You go back and you ask. You go back and you ask the so-called experts what they thought the Falcons would be going into Thanksgiving, weekend. What would the Falcons be? And I guarantee you, nobody would say they would be 5-6 in the playoff hunt, right? Ready to, still have a chance to actually win this division, which I don't think nobody thought that we was going to have a chance. Everybody thought Tampa Bay was going to run away with it. Everybody thought the Saints had such a great team. They was going to be right there as well. So those are the things that where we're at going to Thanksgiving weekend, right in the playoff hunt. You got to love it. Let's go Falcons. Let's see, can we get it done? It's crazy to me to worry about D on 3rd and 10 and more 30. Yeah, it's so crazy, man. Like I'm with you. I'd be like more worried that they're gonna give it up on 3rd and long, right? It's weird. It's like and really those downs, it's about execution, man. First, for one thing, for some reason, 3rd and long, that's when your pass rush got to be electric, right? So we still working in those areas to get our pass rush where it needs to be. Because in 3rd and long, your pass rush should be because those plays have to take time to develop in those down and distances. For some reason our pass rush never gets there in 3rd and long. Then to top that off, the secondary somehow gives up the things they need to, gives up the big play anyway. I just don't understand how that happens. So we just got to do better in both of those aspects. On pass rush, got to work together, correct? So, guys, that's all I have for today. Let me know what you think about my keys. Go ahead, you can come in and put your keys out there, and let me know what you think. You can actually even put a prediction of the game, who you think is going to win this game. Like I said, I don't like to do predictions because it's so hard to do this team. We can't win no games this week. What's going on, D? Say, content. Do you see stepping up the key factor on offense and defense the next 2 weeks? Let me see who I think is going to step up. Let's see. I think on offense, I think Drake London is going to have more, of a role. I think he's such a dynamic rookie, man. I wish he had more opportunities to just show his skill set, but I think he's going to play a bigger role on the offensive side of the ball. And then I think Troy Anderson, and believe it or not, I can't believe I'm talking about 2 rookies right now. Guys that definitely can step up, but yeah, but I expect the veterans to do the things they do. CP, Grady, AJ, right? I expect those guys to do those. So that's why I'm going a little bit out the box and talk about some rookies. Those 2 guys definitely I can see. Troy Anderson, I can see Drake London. Armor Ebiketie, he's getting better and better each week. Another guy, like I said, I'm talking about rookies, but these guys play big roles for us. And my light keep going out too, guys. These guys play big roles for us throughout the season. So it's definitely the guys that I can see stepping up. And if they do, that bodes well for us, not just this season, but in the long term as well, right? So those are the 2 guys that I see stepping up for us. And that's it, guys. So like I said, guys, have a good Thanksgiving. Don't eat too much. Watch all the football. Root for the Giants, not the Cowboys. We don't care about the Cowboys. Hope they lose. And that's all I have. This is your boy Recondo coming back at you with another video. Peace.